It's your girl KingMo. Welcome back to Glow with Mo. I am just making a little introduction. I just came back from the gym. Um, I am going to post a little bit of the talk that I had. I did a live on Twitch, and I thought that I wanted to share it on YouTube as well. It is about just educate. It's about black. The whole conversations we've been having about black men and not going to college, and about black women, and it's about education as well. It's just about gender and education and all that stuff. You guys know I work in education, and I've been working in education for some time now. So I wanted to put my little bit in there. I just want to give you some background. I am kind of, you'll hear me read out loud what people are saying in the chat, so you'll be able to hear what I'm responding to. Also, I want to give a preface that everybody in the chat besides me were black males. So there was no other female in there was no other black woman in the chat. It was just, or any other women in the chat. It was just black males. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well, because that can change the perspective as well with the comments and the how people were commenting. So I was talking to a chat full of black men. I was. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's said with love and care and concern. You guys know that the family unit, and especially the black family unit, is something that I'm very, 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 very passionate about, because I work in education and I see how us not having that has affected our children. So yeah, these are hard conversations we gotta have, honey. It is what it is. Drop your comments. If there's any disrespectful comments or anything rude or whatever it is, I will be blocking and deleting them. That's my prerogative. I don't keep negativity on my page on any platform. I think you guys know that. I would love to hear your feedback. And yeah, love you guys. Enjoy. I think if we stop going from the aspect of money so much, college for black men would be better. Glorifying the aspect of money so much, like what, in the black community? Money or fast money? That comes with education, though. That comes with education, Maratu. Not glorifying money, but understanding how to use money, how to maneuver money, how to work with money. The money that you have comes with education. That comes with exposure. The fear of age is missing out on life experiences that we feel entitled to. Ooh, okay, I understand that. Like you're running out of time. You know? I understand that. The clock is always ticking, yeah. So you gotta do you. You gotta do you. And I don't think I think that that's the beauty of getting older, in my opinion. Could you stop? Well, not everybody, but once you start getting older, the more you stop worrying about other people, and you just start living your life, and you just start doing you. You don't give a fuck no more. That's why I love turning 30, because it was like I just stopped. There were certain things I just stopped caring about. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna wear what I want to wear. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm not gonna talk to people if I don't want to talk to them. I'm not gonna do for you if I don't want to do. Period. Yeah, I feel like most boys want fast money now because it's so glorified and everyone's so materialistic. Yeah. Yep. I saw this guy. He said something about. He said all you need is a ninth grade education to become a barber. Like he was basically talking about telling people that like you only need a ninth grade education, and I was just shocked. I was like, that's what you're gonna put out there for the black boys to hear? They only need a ninth grade education? That's wild. Is buying a gift for a girl after the first date crazy? I'm thinking about doing it. Do you, baby? Do you? What's the gift? What's the gift? Nobody really patient anymore and or want to have substance day to their money. Yeah, people don't. People. Oh wow, you ready to marry her? He doesn't have to stress about money. Poe is the dragon warrior. He doesn't have to stress about money. He's a dragon warrior, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Ooh, that's nice. I ain't mad at you. Go ahead. Do something nice. There's nothing wrong with that. Shoot, gifts are nice. Women like that. That's all I'm about to say. Can I get a gift? Where's my gift at? Hello? Ratu said, can I get a gift? But, you know, a lot of that comes with education. A lot of that comes with exposure, not wanting to do fast money, not doing fast money. Hey May, how you doing? Oh, thank you. To use their talents to the best of their abilities. Who use their talents to the best of their abilities? Oh, thank you, May, for the rose. I think there's not one. When you talk about why black males are not going to college, I think it is layered, it's a multi-layered conversation. There's many reasons. There's not just one reason. There's not just one reason, unfortunately. But, at some point, the excuses we can't have certain excuses too. You know what I mean? Because little black girls are in the same position as little black boys. There's really no difference. There's really no difference when it comes to um the if anything, women are double minorities. Black women are double minorities, so they have even more barriers. To be honest with you, I know that's hard to hear because I think in the black community we make it seem like men have more barriers, but you guys are the majority. We're the double minorities. Black women have more barriers than black men, and I know that's crazy to say. I know that's hard to understand. I know that's hard to stomach because we all have a lot of trauma, but women are still fighting to get paid the same as men. Women are still fighting for that. So, but like I will always say, black men need to create these spaces for little black boys. Black men need to do it. There needs to be more spaces where there are black men creating spaces for black boys to see black men flourishing, tutoring them, right? Educating them in the classroom, all of those things. Black men need to create these spaces for their counterparts. It's on you guys to create these spaces because you guys are the ones that can speak to the little boys better than anybody else can. Women, we try, but a black man can speak to a little black boy better than anybody can, in my opinion. So a lot of times there's a deficit because you guys are not creating those spaces. You guys got to do the work. You guys got to create that community within you guys' community. Because black women, we create community. As crazy as we can be, as all over the place, or as vicious women can be, we create community for each other. We do that. You guys have to do it as well on a grander scale. And it can't just be a coach. It can't be a coach. It can't just always be a coach because all black boys do not play sports. I feel there's different standards to live up to on a social scale for men. What do you mean by that? Excuse me. What do you mean by that you feel like it's different standards to live up to on a social scale for men? We all have standards. All of us. We all have different standards. I think I want to know what you mean by that, but for women and men, they drift to if it's not a sport like Tokyo Drift. Huh? What you mean, Nas? My message is coming through late. Some not coming through at all. Damn it. I don't know what's going on with TikTok. They let all of the crazy messages go through, but when people are talking about something, they don't let it go through. I don't get it. I don't even have a filter on my live. But men and women's standards yes, women have different standards and men have different standards. But as far as our environment, we're living in the same environment. We have the same single parent. A lot of us are still coming from the same single parent families. Older siblings, older girls. Girls are taking care of the household. Boys are taking care of the household. You know what I mean? A lot of girls go undiagnosed. A lot, and that's statistically shown that girls are go undiagnosed in education a lot. What I see from in education with little boys is that they will diagnose them. They're more likely to diagnose a boy than a girl, but sometimes they will, make it more of a behavioral thing. Hey, Jess, thank you, honey. They'll make it a behavioral thing with boys. With girls, they go undiagnosed. So I think where women are when talking about this, and it's a very hard subject because, you know, Black men and black women are at war right now. We're at war. We're not liking each other because there's changes that need to be made. And the way that we're raised, it in our household, it breeds a lot of resentment. So even before we start to date each other, before we even start to date each other, how black girls are raised, how black boys are raised, especially if they're in a household together, it builds resentment because we're dealing with tradition, we're dealing with patriarchy in our homes, and people are not, and children are not being treated fairly and equally in a lot of homes. And so it starts to build resentment. So that resentment's there even before we start dating each other and people start doing crazy things to each other. And now that there's even more single parent families, there's a lot of resentment amongst each other because we're not in a unit anymore. Men are pissed off about child support. Women are pissed off about having to handle and be the custodial parent in a lot of situations. You know? So, but that resentment starts from young. When daddy and mommy let your brother stay out longer because he's a boy, and he made your sister come inside because she's a girl and she can get pregnant. Mind you, he can get 17 people pregnant that night. She can only get pregnant by one person. He can come home with 17 different babies if he's getting it in. So it's like that builds resentment. Hey, Blickety Blitz. Tradition from the old days and a new generation. I believe things are meant to change. I do. I believe things are meant to change. I believe some things are set in stone as well. I believe that certain things from the old school way works. I believe it works. And sometimes we get ahead of ourselves and we think that we have to be so progressive or whatever it is to a certain point, and we get lost in the sauce. You know, there's certain things I think it's just like this works, and then you move forward and you change certain things. But right now we gotta get the family unit back together. You know, I always say that. Oh, I missed you too. I always say the family unit needs to get back together because the family unit not being together is creating so much resentment. It's creating so much resentment amongst woman to man, child to mother, child to father. It's building so much. People are so angry because there's not a family unit anymore. People are angry. They're miserable. Look at what we see online. Nobody can do anything. Nobody can give people props. You get too far ahead, people want to knock you down. People are miserable. People can't maintain friendships anymore. They can't maintain relationships anymore. Any chance they get, they're tearing each other down. Hey, Ace Lulu. Tearing each other down. It's a lot of resentment, but it starts from young. I think with man and woman, it starts from young because, like you're creating these boundaries and these barriers, and you have to know as a child when you're dealing with children. They want to be treated. Everybody wants to. Why does she get to do this and I don't get to do this? Why does he get to do this and I don't? You hear children say that all the time because that's where they're at. They don't see anything but fair is fair, right is right. So you're in the house saying your daughter can't do something, but your son can do it. That builds resentment. You're in the house. Your son can't do something, but the daughter, whatever it is, that builds resentment. But that's built in a patriarchal society. That's built in misogyny. And we don't realize is that the patriarchal society, misogyny also goes against for males. When our culture is warped up into misogyny, it takes a disservice to men as well. And we're seeing it in real time. Because men are like, well, why do I have to do this? And why do I have to be like this as a man? Because misogyny. The same thing you benefit from, you don't benefit. There's certain things that you fail from. The same reason why you're failing right now is because of misogyny. The same thing you benefit from, the same way that women are being oppressed still to this day, is the reason why you feel oppressed. It's the reason why you're feeling like you have to carry everything on your back. That's what we lack in hard right now, unity. Look at the Ashton Hall. They dislike this man for running. Men created it and I dislike it so much. They did. They did. They did. In the same way that you want to oppress women or whatever it is, or you benefit off of women being the lesser of genders or seen as the weaker or more restricted. You restrict your daughters. You sit there, and because of misogyny, you don't teach your daughters about sexual health or all of these things, but you are okay with your son going out. That's crazy. And now what happens? Your daughter can only get pregnant once. How are you scared about your daughter, but you're not scared about your son? You're not teaching him? You're not telling him to respect himself? Your son can go out there and bring 3 baby mamas home, 4 baby mamas. We're seeing it in real time. But we will slut shame women because when the woman's mind is weak, you can control her. But in return, you're also being controlled because the discipline is not there, because you're walking around thinking you could do anything because you're a man. You don't feel the shame until after the fact. It's crazy. So the same misogyny that society oppresses women is the same reason why men are suffering as well. Oh, nobody cares about men's mental health. Men have to care about men's mental health. Men have to care. Men have to care. Men have to care about mental health. Men have to go into the classrooms and speak to young boys and tell them how important education is. Men have to be in the schools. Men have to be kindergarten teachers. But because you don't want to pay teachers more, because majority of teachers are women, now you have boys walking around in the hallways because they're bored and they don't have any connection to their educational experience because there's not a lot of men. There's not enough of what they see of themselves in there. So that's misogyny, that oppression is backfiring. They said it's not just black men that are not going, it's white men too. They're not in the classrooms. And with the statistics now, they're not in the homes either. So they're not in the homes, they're not in the classroom. So from kindergarten to 8th grade, there's so many boys that have no male role models. From kindergarten to 8th grade, those are pivotal years for the development of a child to be a sound person. It's affecting y'all. The same thing y'all riding out on, it's affecting y'all too. I don't know. And we know that. Anyways, that's just what I mean by old ways that just need to change. Facts. Everyone downs the baby mother, but not teach the boy discipline. Do you believe men and women are equal? Yes, we're human beings. But men and women are equal, yes. But are our experiences equitable? No, I don't believe our experiences are equitable. So what does that mean? People go, this is how ignorance comes into play when we're talking about men and women are equal. Yes, we're human beings. We're grown women. You're a grown man. We are equal. But are our experiences equitable? No, because we're women and you're a man. We have children, we have periods, we have certain things, we have hormonal imbalances because we have periods. We have so many other things. Men are different. But we're still looked at to, so when men were like, well, you believe you're a man. You guys want to be equal to us? We want our lives to be equitable. We want to have autonomy over our bodies, over our rights of our bodies. We talk about it all the time in education, the difference between equality and equity. We talk about it all the time. When a child comes, when you have a parent, so for example, you have a child that comes in, let's pause on the male and female conversation. When you have a child that comes in here whose parents have not gone to college, this is statistically shown, who don't have a sound educational background, and you have a child who does, the child who does has 500 more words in their vocabulary than the child who does not have parents that have an educational background. They have 500 more words. So how can you create how can you expect them to perform at the same rate? It's not equitable. So in education, what they try to do and what is still in a process is how can we create curriculums where no matter what the background is of the child, they're having an equitable experience. Because it's not all equal. You're holding them to you're holding a child who has 500 less words coming in to the same standard as somebody who has 500 more words. Your little body can do it, so Johnny can do it. That's what people do to women when we're saying we want equal rights. Well, a man can do it, you should do it. No, we're not talking about equality. We're talking about equity. Because we're built differently. We're built differently. But we still want to have an equitable experience. We still want to be equal. We're equal. We're not equitable. Is it an equitable experience for a child of color to come into a classroom and none of the curriculum none of the curriculum they can relate to. All of the history is just white history, white history. They don't see anybody of color in their learning. That's not equitable. You want to see this. You want to see something like this. You need to see, a child needs to see this. A child needs to see themselves in their educational experience. Don't get me started. What's up, Jay? And it's the same with women. Is it equitable for a woman to have a child, come back, and her job is gone? Is it equitable that women are suffering with all types of hormonal issues and period, their menstruation issues, and having to come to work and still perform at high rates when your hormones are out of whack? Guys make fun of it. Y'all deal with our hormones if you're with us and you're like, oh my God, what are you on today? It's a real experience. But we carry that on our back because that's what do people who do that? Minorities. Minority groups carry those things, even though they are expected to deliver, right, on an equal playing field as their counterparts, even if it's not equitable. Black people deal with that. Black women deal with it even more because what? They are double minorities. So I think that sometimes when we hear these excuses, or we hear these excuses from black men, it enrages black women because it's like, but you're just a minority because you're black. I'm a minority because I'm black and I'm a woman. So I have double the boundaries, the barriers than you do. But I'm still here. I'm still trying to make you feel good about you, like all these things, and you're still on me. You're a grown man. And so, and despite the fact that black women have double barriers, we're still excelling. And then when we are proud about us doing that, despite two double barriers, we're told that we're boasting. We're told now what they're doing to women who have education. What I hear all the time: we don't care about the degrees. You don't care about the degrees. You don't care about the things that we're excelling in. Why? What does that trigger within you? Because unconsciously, the misogynistic part, because we all have it, even women have it. Even women suffer from misogyny. That's why we allow men to do certain things to us, and that's why certain things happen to us, and we say, hey, a man will be a man. Because women are even misogynistic, because that's what we're raised in. So the heat that y'all feel sometimes from women is because we are double minority and we're still excelling. What is your excuse? What is your excuse? And in the black community, a lot of times black women are raised to protect men. Because in our eyes, what have we been told? And black men have been told the same thing. And that's why y'all always bring up, you know, the prison. We have to protect our boys. We have to protect our men because they can go out there and get arrested. Meanwhile, black women are getting abducted. Little black girls are being kidnapped. We're under attack. But for some reason in our minds, we feel like we have to. That's why with the whole Meg Thee Stallion situation, if you believe it or not, she says she didn't tell the police officer that he shot that whole old boy pew-pewed her because he didn't, because of all the things that was going on, and she didn't want him. She was even protecting him. You know how many times women do that? Because in our minds, we feel like we still have to protect you guys. You don't want to believe it because everybody's angry. Everybody's angry. Everybody's triggered. But there's nobody that knows the experience of being a double minority besides if you are a double minority. You will never understand that. You will always have privilege over women because you are not a woman. But now with misogyny, with the patriarchal society, you are also, because of the restraints, because of how the patriarchy is not ready for a woman president, you are not benefiting from everything that's going on. As well, it's backfiring. It's backfiring. You can't try to oppress people and don't think that it's going to backfire on you. You can't pay teachers shit because it's a heavily woman populated industry and wonder why little black boys and little white boys do not have any association in the classrooms. They don't see themselves in the classroom. It's backfiring. That's why boys are not into education. They're into sports because that's where the coaches are. That's where the men are. They're into the streets because that's where the men are. They're into the plumbing. They're into the barbershop because that's where the men are. They're not in the classrooms. But because you don't want to pay women more, you don't want to pay teachers more because it's a heavy dominant, and teachers have to go and get 17,000 degrees in order to just get a buck, is backfiring. Women are in the classroom. Women are in getting degrees because we have to. We don't have the privilege to walk around without a degree. We don't have that privilege. What's up, Shakur? We don't have that. That's a privilege to walk around and not have a degree and still be able to make money and dap up somebody and they put you on and be paid equally. We have to go get 14 degrees in order to get paid and still not the same, and still not get paid the same. So black men need to get into making these communities for black boys. Whatever the issues are, is because black men need to get into these spaces and create spaces for black boys and black men to flourish. If you have an issue with nobody caring about men's mental health, men have to care about it. Women, we create these spaces for us. We create these spaces for us. If you look around every minute, we're creating spaces for us to have emotional spaces for us. That's what we create. Nobody's creating that for us. The same suffering and silence that a man goes through is the same suffering silence that a woman goes through. The same suffering and silence that a man goes through is the same suffering silence that a woman goes through. You don't know about that one. Ask your mama, ask your auntie, ask your cousin, ask your grandmother. How many women are suffering in silence? We're a double minority. We can't just walk around and be. Men are suffering in silence. I see it all the time. Men are suffering in silence because men are not talking to men. Pull them aside. Pull your homeboy aside. Pull your son aside. Listen to what he has to say. Pull your nephew aside. That's what you were supposed to do. You can always come work with me. No degree needed. Nobody cares about our feelings. You guys don't care about your feelings. You guys have to create those spaces. You're saying nobody cares? You don't care. Who told you to stop acting like a girl? Who's the one who are the people who put that into place? That's why I said misogyny is backfiring. Misogyny is backfiring on men. You guys have to change. You guys have to change the standard of what it means to be a man. You guys have to create these experiences in these communities for you to have a safe space for you guys to open up. Women are doing it for women. Women are doing it for little girls. When you say nobody cares, what you should be looking at is yourself. There you go. Chad said, that's why I go fishing and hunting. Everyone suffers in silence. Everyone suffers in silence. It's a part of adulthood. You don't tell all your business. There's things that you're going to suffer with as a mother that you will never, your kids will never know. There's things as a wife you will suffer in silence that your husband won't never know. There's things as a husband that you will suffer in silence that your wife will never know. Everybody suffers in silence. That's why people go to a religion. That's why people go to therapy. I work for a railroad. Remember, no degree needed. That's fine. And I'm not saying education is the end all be all. What I'm saying is there's not enough representation in education for boys to feel connected to it. We need people working on the railroads. We need people working as barbers. We need plumbers. We need electricians. We do. We absolutely do. But you guys have to create those spaces. That's how things are created. Look at, for example, all women gyms, right? Way back in the day, my mother used to take me to a gym. It was an all woman gym. Who's creating that? If you need spaces, create the space. If you don't care about it, nobody else is going to care about it. Representation can save a life. I'm going to keep saying that. Representation can save a life. We need to see kindergarten male teachers. We need to see more of that. Maybe it will save a life. Maybe it will save a child's life to see a teacher that looks like them in front of the classroom. Representation is important. That's why I come to work. I look like myself, because you know what? I have children in here that need to see a black woman that looks like them in the establishment. Nappy hair and all. I got my dunks on and everything. Hello, I don't care. I don't care if people of my counterparts are judging me. What's more important is for the children to see that they have people that look like them. That's my sacrifice. That's why I love to see it on the internet. I've been seeing more black men as teachers. It's important to see them in the classroom. It will connect little boys to wanting to associate with their education. I'm not saying everybody has to have a degree, and if you don't have a degree, you're a bum. I will never say that. If you have a specialty, a skill, and you can make a good living and you can live your life and that's what you're good, I will always be for that. We need to go back to that, because times is getting crazy and they're charging everything. We need to go back to the barter system. So we need people in all those areas. But we do need men in educational spaces, because it could save a life. It can keep somebody out the streets. It can keep boys, and it's good for self-confidence. Confidence. That you don't have to beat your chest. You don't have to hit on a woman. You don't have to grab a phone. What was that, Boston Richie? You don't have to oppress a woman to feel like a man, because you're educated, you're cultured in mind, you have a good sense of self. All of that's happening in those developmental years. Most of these boys got dads. It's their moms telling them to not act like a girl. I be telling my little wrestlers it's okay to cry and feel like they don't feel. Just don't let it consume you. We just need to reconstruct society. A lot needs to change. I'm done with blaming the mothers. I'm done with blaming moms. I'm done with blaming mothers for absent fathers. I think I'm done with that. That's the oldest cop out. We can both. I'm all on board with blaming both parents. I'm all on board with blaming with parents not seeking certain things that they need in order to show up better. But it also takes village, and people get burnt out. They get overstimulated. I don't know if you deal with kids, but kids can be a lot. Happy Friday, Wish Money. And a lot of our cultures come from very tough. We're tough because we have to be, because we're minorities. We're trying to stay alive in a society that does not want us to be. But I'm done with blaming single mothers. Good morning, Big Sam. I'm done with blaming single mothers for absent fathers. I'm done with that. I'm not in that business. I'm sorry. But that is exactly why I said we need more men in educational spaces. Because if a young boy goes home and all he hears is mommy, and then he comes to school and he hears my voice, I'm sounding like mommy at home too. I'm not saying shut your ass up. I'm not doing that. But now he's in another establishment for 8 hours a day, and he's hearing more female conversation and female voice and direction. And correction, instead of hearing it from the man. And the man's going to be able to see it differently. The man is going to know when to give him tough love, when to give him love, when to give him discipline, because you was a boy before you was a man. He can hear your voice better. And it don't take much. When the man's in the house, when the man's around, what did your mother just say? We see it all the time. And he's right up. Son, that's not the way to go. That's not how you should do it. It's that quick. But we need more representation. And we cannot blame mothers for the lack of representation. We can't do it anymore. That's exhausting. And that's where I get old school, because I got an old school father. So that's when I get old school and I say, man the fuck up. I don't want to hear you blaming women. We need more representation. It can save a life. And that's not representation in the streets. And if you don't see certain things, it's it continues. If there's a whole bunch of kids, little boys, if there's a whole bunch of little boys never seeing a man in the household, the cycle continues. Representation. Men need to see fathers, boys need to see fathers in the household to see what that looks like. You got to create spaces. If there's no one that cares about men's mental health and little boys' mental health, that means that men don't care about it. Because why hasn't a man created those spaces for men to unpack? Men have to create those spaces. You want women to do it? You really want a woman to create a space for men to unpack? I don't think you want to. I don't think y'all want to hear it. You have to do it. Who's going to do it for you? Who? You want us to do it? Who's doing it? You said nobody cares. Who's doing it? Because if a woman does it, she's going to do it. She's going to do it in a woman's way. And you're not going to want that. Because men are from Mars and women are from Venus. No, I'm joking. You don't want to hear it. And we don't want to have to be the ones always talking. Trust me. Thank you. Thank you, Marata. We don't want to be the ones. I'm telling you. If y'all could, we would be like, go ahead, please. Please go to that session. Go to that community out, we're looking for that. We want you to thrive. As much as you guys don't think it, we want you to thrive. Because if you're thriving, what does that mean? We're thriving. The family unit is thriving. Our children are thriving. Our little boys are thriving. Happy Friday, Lamont. And we can just focus on ourselves. Because we got work to do too. But when we worried about y'all, we ain't worried about us. We ain't worried about the kids. We ain't worried about the things we need to be worried about. We all up in y'all business. Because it's affecting ours. And now we jacked up. Too. Y'all got to create those spaces.
I have young boys right now at my school that I'm like, we have mentors that come here, high school mentors. Not one of them are black. And I have little black boys that are struggling in school right now. And I can talk to them. I can talk to them blue in my face. But then what happens when they get home? Who's talking to them too? Their mama. Then I come to school and I'm the mama. They don't want to hear me. And I don't want and I feel like it's a disservice. So I'm like, we need black mentors here. Specifically. They need to see black men in their spaces, in their educational rooms. Because what I can do is when I see a little black girl or something going on, I know what that is. I know when to say, you're out of line. Or when they need a hug, or when they need reassurance, or where their confidence needs to be boosted up. Because I was a little black girl before I was a grown woman. And so a lot of black boys are missing that connection from until high school, or if they're not in college. I mean, if they're not in from kindergarten to middle school, because there's not a lot of male teachers in those spaces. They need that uncle. Absolutely, Mont. It's a deeper connection. You're right. It's a deeper connection. You can a little boy's gonna hear your voice more than a little black boy's gonna hear your voice before he hears mine. You can speak to his spirit and his confidence in him as a man better than I can. You guys have to create those spaces. We're looking for y'all. I'm looking for y'all. I'm like, wait, we have mentors and there's no black mentors? I got black boys up in here. I need a black mentor. And sometimes it's just like that. Call it what you want. I know we're getting away from all types of labels. But hey, like I will say it till I'm blue in the face. Representation can save a life. Representation can save a life. Good morning. And then maybe we can deal with what's going on between black men and black women. But until then, I don't know. We got to create these spaces. We got to take care of ourselves because we fighting too much. I mean, I'm on the timeline and I'm just like, ugh, yuck, ugh, yuck, yuck. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing it. I really am. We got to take accountability and get out there and get it. Cry when we need to cry, and you nut the fuck up when you need to nut the fuck up. You take a little bit of the new school and a little bit of old school. We can't always be in therapy and goo goo gaga and let's hold hands. Sometimes you got to tell them, get it together and move forward. But we can't always be tough love either, because people need feelings. People need to have emotions to unpack. Too much therapy is not good. Too much of the tough love, old school, do as I say, blah, 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 is not good either. It's traumatizing. We got to be somewhere in the middle. So that's my rant. That's been on my heart for a while, y'all. I had to get that out. Maybe I can sleep at night tonight. Y'all, I've been eating these protein bars. These protein bars are good. And they got a little crunch to them. 15 grams of protein, 1 grams of sugar. They're chocolate caramel pecan. Yummy. Y'all got me over here It's getting hot talking about that. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing everybody arguing. Equality and equity are two different things. Like C-Bum said, I'm okay with crying, but I realize when it's time to F it up on the stage. Exactly, Muratu. Exactly. Put your feelings aside and get to what you got to do. Because I'm telling you, even here, thank you, KK. The therapy has gotten so out of control that kids feel incapable of doing anything. I have anxiety. I have ADD. I have ADHD. Okay, that's cool to know. Sit down and get this work done. Now you have kids walking around, diagnose themselves, feeling incapable of doing anything. There's a time and a place. I'll give you some strategies on how to work through it when you're feeling a little uncomfortable because you have anxiety, but you have to learn how to present this. You have to know how to get up in front of this classroom and present. You cannot say you're not going to present this project because you have anxiety. I'm sorry. I'll teach you strategies to deal with it, but we all get nervous in front of a big room. But what the reality is, what I'm teaching you is how to learn how to speak up for yourself and how to advocate, because you will always need to know how to speak up for yourself. Tough love, maybe you need a minute, but we got to get to this. We're handicapping these people, these kids. You need the men in the room to say, tell them little boys, you got this, you can do this. Men need to feel capable, so they're not leaving their families because they don't feel capable of being the leader of the household, of taking care of other people, that they feel adequate enough to be able to handle that. That's a part of being an adult. I remember as an adult, my first big purchase, I didn't think I could handle it. I called my mother up. I was like, I don't know if I'm able to handle this. I don't know if I'm responsible enough. I paid it. I stacked up the money and I paid it. And once you get into it, you learn, you can figure it out and you can handle it. But you need men in those spaces to tell young boys, say, hey son, you got it. You can do this. You can be a father and you can be a great father. You could be a husband. You could be a great husband. You can go to school. You can finish college. Elder Reginald, that comment always sets us back 10 steps. That comment always sets us back 10 steps. Some of men, not all men. I'm not talking about all men. It's a generalization. That's what you do when you're talking in sociology. Sociology is a study. It's the generalization. There's an exception to everything. But when we're talking about the general populace, the general group, we're not talking about everyone. But when you always say, not all men, some men, that's besides the point. It's off topic. Not all men are out of the household. I grew up with a father in the household. He's still there. He's still in the same house that I was raised in. He's a homeowner with my mother. Not all men are deadbeats. I was raised by a man that was not a deadbeat. So I'm very clear on that. With no outside children. Exactly. That's my life. That's an exception. Do you get what I'm saying? But every time somebody talks about something that's dealing with Black fathers, and they're talking about the general situation, and I say, well, that's not. I grew up with my dad. I grew up with my dad. That's besides the point. I'm not talking about him then. I'm not talking about him. You get what I'm saying? That's why you said that's your life. I'm not talking about all men. I'm talking about men. I were a single parent of 3 sons. And you know what? That's not easy as a parent. But you're not hearing, you're feeling. You're not hearing, you're feeling. So you coming in at the tail end of the conversation with the load of being a single father of 3 sons, right? You're coming in here with that load on your back, and you're not hearing, you're feeling through your own trauma, which I understand. I'm not speaking for men. They need confidence in the classroom. They need confidence carrying on through life. Exactly, Muratu. No, I'm not. So are you. I have no clue what you're talking about. You just came in here, honey. But I appreciate you, Black man. I have no clue what you're talking about right now. And I don't think you have any clue what I've been talking about. But I'm going to post a video. You can go through it and listen to the whole video. I'm actually advocating. Hey, Fly. TGIF. You could take it. You got to take yourself out of your own situation sometimes to see it clearly. Yeah. You got to take yourself out of your own situation sometimes. Yep. And that's what I'm talking about, that resentment. That resentment that our genders have towards each other. We have to create spaces. Because a lot of us are struggling with that. Because we got to get back together. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it when we're together. And I could put money on that. There is nothing like it when we are like this. Go and pull up some old videos of Soul Train. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. Go pull up some old videos of the Soul Train, and see when we're together how it looks. There's nothing like it. We vibing, twin. We twins. We vibing. Ron, what's up? How you doing? Man, this gonna make me feel bad.
Well, that's the end of the video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I know it's a bit long, but listen to it while you're working out or cleaning up or doing something of that sort. I love you guys. Long time. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Once again, that's like, share, and subscribe. That's how we gonna get me up. Listen, y'all, we trying to get this platform shebang banging. Leave some more topics that you guys want me to talk about down in the comments as well. I love getting feedback from you guys. So any kind of topics, even if it's something that you're going through or whatever, and you want me to talk about it, I'm always open to those conversations as well. I love you guys. Long time. Thanks for rocking out for me and holding me down. Yeah. Peace out, y'all.
I got too many hoes, but they ain't you. Like to put that shit in your door.